Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about the new Meindl Desert Defense. That's this one in comparison to the old one, the Desert Fox. Although this is the medium, I don't have the Fox, I actually like them a little bit lower, but they're basically the same. So let's have a closer look at the differences. Okay, so here are the boots side by side. So this is the new Meindl Defense Desert, and this is the old Meindl Desert, only this is the medium, so not the Fox. The only difference literally is that this part of the shoe is a little bit lower. I actually prefer that, but you know, the rest is identical. So let's go over the differences that they made with the shoe, and I think I like to start at the bottom, at the sole. The outsole are both Meindls in this case, and they are actually done by Vibram. So they are basically the same but under license. And the funny thing is, I've seen them with Vibram soles as well, and I don't really understand why that is. So I can only get them with the Meindl soles. Now there is a little bit difference with the profile, but basically they have the same coarseness and basically the same layout. There is one thing that they changed, and maybe if I put it like this it's better, I can show it better, but this, the midsole and the outer sole are sort of like made out of a one-piece construction, if that makes sense. So they are not resolable. The new ones, as you can see, there is literally a sole attached to the midsole separately, and you can imagine that this is easier to resole. Okay, so same coarseness, basically the same sole. They have, well, some differences. As you can see, the piece in the middle here is a lot smaller in the new one, and the heel part is a little bit bigger. So yeah, there are some changes, but it's not very significant. So let's go to the instep while we're at it. Actually, then I have to turn this one around because they're the same shoe, both on the right side. This is the instep, and you can see the difference. With the old shoe there was cordura here for breathability, and they had all these holes for breathability also. And on the new one they actually made it out of one piece. And there is a reason for that. That is a functional change, because apparently they were doing roping, going up and down the ropes, and it was abrasive, and apparently this was damaged. The stitching came undone and probably had to be replaced, and now they made it out of one piece, so there is no damage to the or not as much damage to the shoe. So that is a functional change. On the inside, however, they did make some holes in the liner, or the stuff between the liner and the leather, to compensate for extra breathability. Yeah, so the cordura is gone, but they made some extra ventilation under the leather there, so it's a little bit thinner in places. So that is on the instep, definitely a change. You can see something else, of course, that goes for both sides. I'll put it like so. The laces, as you can see, one of these laces go a lot further down on the shoe. Here it was pretty high up, so it didn't really do much. And here they changed it to a far lower place, so you can really get the heel a lot tighter at your ankle, sort of. Yeah. Another change, of course, is the top of the shoe. The old one had a leather finish, sort of, and here at the new one it's all cordura, and it's far thicker, padded. Yeah, so that is on the instep. So let's go to the nose. Very obvious difference there. They added a toe cap or something, sort of like a rubbery, plasticky protection. I don't really necessarily like it, but it does work, of course. It does protect that point there. On the outside with the new one we still have the cordura. It's bigger, as you can see, than the old one, so a little bit more breathability there. All the stitching is basically the same. although they used 3 stitches here and they used 2 stitches in the old one, so they made a little bit of an improvement there. And as you can see, here are some holes as well for extra breathability. This one doesn't have that at the heel, but they had spots going all the way through there. Alright, so that is basically, again, the lace difference. Yeah, it grabs on very low. Yeah, so that is on that side. On the back side, also they added a protective cap which goes higher up than the midsole of the old version, and they removed that small leather flappy which I think protected the soft spot, and here they just removed it all together and made it bigger, so there's a little bit more flexibility there with walking. And again, all Cordura in the new one, leather in the old one. Of course, this is the medium. The Fox would have been a little bit higher and would have had a little bit of Cordura also. Okay, then the top, which is quite a change. First of all, they changed the loops, the eyes, or what do you call these things where the laces go through, and the old ones were pretty sharp. If you came across that with your finger, you really got hurt, and this is really smooth. So I mean, this is a far easier, so if you do your laces you don't get scratched and things like that. And they also removed that shoe lip thing, the tongue of the shoe. They had one of these things on top, and that was really annoying because you constantly hurt your fingers when lacing the shoe. And here they replaced it with a Cordura little strappy thingy, and you can run the laces through. The tongue of the shoe is also a lot thicker padded, as you can see, and it's a lot bigger as well. Yeah, so that is something they changed. And they added a pocket for the laces. As you can see, underneath is also more Cordura, and the leather is also with holes for extra breathability. Yeah, so I think that is a nice feature. Also, the other one only had a few holes. So all in all, they made a lot of improvements. I can also tell you that the midsole was improved. The old shoe had just one type of midsole, and I don't know if they had different compartments, but in the new one they definitely made different compartments to accommodate for all the footwork, etc, etc. Alright, so basically I think that covers the shoe on the outside. On the inside they both have the Cordura liner, nothing fancy there, and they both have the same Meindl Air Active sole. I don't see much difference, except that the old one had one of these pads here, which didn't do much, and the other one, the new one, doesn't have that. So that's a dry sole. This one apparently is also a dry sole, but well, not much difference there. A little bit more holes. So that is for the soles. Basically the same sole in the shoe. So what we're gonna do now, and I'm going to walk around, do some things up and down a hill, etc, just to feel if there is a difference in walking on these shoes. I already wore them just to break them in a little, but that's so let's do that, shoot some footage of that, very short, and then I will have a conclusion. All right, let's go. Okay, so we're going to do some practical hiking, climbing, just to see if there's a difference. So I'm going to do everything twice. I'm not going to show everything twice, but I'm going to do it vice versa to feel the difference. One time I have the new one on the right foot, one time I have it on the left foot, and the old one on the other, so I can feel the difference. And I already own an old pair that I was going to be replacing with these ones, but you know, then the Defense came out. But I want to show you the sole. I've been wearing this one for quite a while, and as you can see, there is still profile, but there is something already coming through of the insole, or I don't know what that is. So I'll just keep wearing these and see what happens. But just so you know, that is basically the old sole. As you can see how much it worn. Well, not that much actually, but there is something coming through there. Well, one more thing that I can already tell you is an improvement, is that these are a lot easier to get on. so they widened the inside so that it is easier to put on and off. With the old ones, you sometimes really had to take the laces all the way to the well, almost that you had to take them out to get in and out. And with the new one, that is a lot easier. So this one is a lot easier to get in than the old one. As you can see, you really have to like, yeah. And if you have to do this 10 times a day, then that becomes a thing. All right, let's do some quick tests. In conclusion, I've been walking on these for a couple hours, of course, breaking them in and using them around the house, etc. Doing some tests here, and I can tell you it's very hard to feel the difference. But there is one difference that you feel. When you walk on asphalt or harder surface, you feel that the new boot has a little bit higher heel. So you really feel a little bit more that your foot is lifted up in comparison to the old one, which is more flat. So this one feels a little bit more clunky, a little bit less smooth when you're walking on a harder surface. But when you're climbing uphill, downhill, you really can't tell much of a difference. One more thing is we had these pockets for the laces that we talked about, and when you cinch them really tight, you actually close the pocket off as well, and it's very hard to get the laces in. So I don't know, either the tongue of the shoe must be higher up, or I don't know, but it's kind of hard to get it in. So yeah, something to think about. And further, so the old one had a little bit softer heel, so when you walk on that, it feels a little smoother when you roll your foot. So I would say they are a little bit more comfortable on asphalt, is my conclusion anyway. So these the new ones are resoluble. They are quite a lot more expensive. They go from around 200 euros up, or $200, and these are about 150 approximately. So they are a lot cheaper, and well, basically you get the same shoe, but then an old school version. So if I had to choose, I would go for the new ones, because of all the changes that they made. They are actually more comfortable to use. All right, well, I hope it helped, and see you next time.